Here's a brief case for how school choice and increased educational freedom helps students. School choice proposes a simple shift in how we approach education. It allows families to decide where to send their children to school and allows public funding to follow the student to whatever school best serves their needs, be it public, private, or charter. The logic behind this is straightforward. When families are empowered to choose, schools must compete to earn and retain students. That competition creates accountability, incentives to improve, and creates a system that best serves the interests of students. Some argue that public schools would suffer under this model, but that assumes that public schools cannot compete. If public schools truly offer the best education, then parents will continue to choose them. They will simply need to earn the loyalty of families by delivering quality education. But if families begin choosing private or charter alternatives, that is a sign that those options are serving students' needs better. And funding should follow the students there, since public education funding exists to educate children, not to guarantee the jobs of adults or protect institutions. It's also worth noting that parents should be trusted to choose the best school for their child. They know their child better than any bureaucrat or politician does and have a much higher stake in their child's educational outcomes than anyone else, including teachers' unions and members of Congress. Consider that public school teachers themselves send their children to private schools at almost twice the national rate. Roughly 20% of public school teachers send their children to private schools, compared to just 11% of the general public. When those closest to the classrooms are sending their children to private schools at a higher rate than the general population, it may be a sign that they see issues in public schools that most Americans don't. It would be like if Ford gave every American Ford cars for free, but 20% of Ford's engineers bought and drove Chevys. You would probably start to wonder if the engineers at Ford know something about their cars that everyone else doesn't. Opponents of school choice often warn that students in charter or private schools might not perform better. But again, if that's true, then public schools have nothing to fear from competition. Parents will simply choose the public schools. The only reason to prevent choice is fear of competition. And the behavior of some public schools tells us that they may indeed fear competition. In some cities, public school officials have refused to sell or lease vacant school buildings to charter schools, even when the buildings sit unused. But if public schools believe they offer a better product, why are they working so hard to avoid competition? If Coca-Cola claimed Pepsi was inferior, but then lobbied to ban Pepsi from store shelves, we'd start to question whether Coca-Cola really believed its own claims. After all, if their product is actually better, then they wouldn't have a need to prevent competition. It is also worth noting that support for school choice is strong across races and political identities. Recent polling shows that 79.5% of Black voters, 75.9% of Hispanic voters, and 76.4% of white voters are more likely to support candidates who support school choice. Even among political parties, 77% of Democrats and 88% of Republicans say the same. Some worry that choice programs would divert money from public schools, but if public schools are doing a poorer job of educating students than alternatives, then they shouldn't continue to be funded. If a private or charter school can educate a child better at an equal or lower cost, why wouldn't we want to pursue that? Again, the goal of education funding should not be to prop up institutions, but to actually educate children. School choice also encourages accountability by increasing the cost of failure. If a charter school fails, it closes. If a private school underperforms, families leave. But in the absence of school choice, when public schools are failing, they often continue operating. If schools must compete to attract students, their survival depends on performance. If they don't have to compete, their focus shifts from excellence to self-preservation and blocking out the competition. The structure of school choice resembles other government programs that we already use. Consider food stamps. We don't require recipients to shop only at government-run stores. We give them the purchasing power and allow them to shop at a variety of privately operated stores. The result? Lower prices, variety, and better service. The same logic should apply to education. And finally, there is the matter of fairness. Right now, when a family chooses a private school, they still pay taxes that support public schools. They are, in effect, paying twice for their child's education. In summary, school choice is a powerful way to align our education system with the needs of students rather than the interests of a select group of educators and administrators. By empowering parents to choose what's best for their children, states can promote excellence, accountability, and innovation. No school, public or private, should be able to take its students for granted, and school choice ensures that they can't.